Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I'm going to be going over the patch 2.6 Reloaded for Awesomenauts. This patch has quite a few new updates that I will be going through in just a minute here, but first I wanted to make a point to let you guys know that in this video I will be going over what I have deemed to be the most important, the most vital information for jumping right back into the game, making sure you have all the new info down. You can go to the official forum post, which I will have a link down below in the description if you guys want to see things like bug fixes. I do skip over the modding just because I don't have enough information that I feel comfortable telling you about that. Things like that, so make sure you guys go to the official forum post to check every last bit of it out. Also, make sure you guys leave me a like down below and a comment. Those kind of things will really help me out. It lets me know if you guys are enjoying this kind of a video, if you found it interesting and informative, or if you think I should just stop even trying to do something like this. So, without any further ado, let's get started with some of the new features. The first major update in this patch is actually to the loadout system, now referred to as Zork's Mega Shop. The old loadout system, where you could only pick 3 upgrades at a time, is long gone. The problem with the old loadout system was it was really bad for making builds based off what map or opposing team compositions there were. Since you didn't know where you were going to be or who you were against, you were really just picking the best well-rounded option, which led to everyone picking the same thing again and again, and there was no adapting to the situation. With the new shop, all 6 items will be available for each upgrade in the game itself, in the match. However, you are still only able to pick 3 per game. Now, doing this, it allows you to change your build and adapt to the situation. For example, you may want to build your Scree to be able to take the slime solar boss down much easier. But if you prep for that build with the old system and you don't end up on that map, now you're kind of screwed over. So you can do things like that. Also, if you're playing a character like Derpal, who gets completely walled by Scree, he doesn't have to build himself for tanking down and nuking or anything like that, where Scree's just going to throw a saw on you. Now Derpal has the option to change his build to adapt to Scree and have a better chance. The point being is that for different situations, different maps, different team combinations, each player can adapt to that when more information has been given to them. In addition to the new store, a few more things have been added to help people have a better chance of adapting to the game. One said thing is the new Tooltips. When you used to open up your scoreboard, you could scroll through the players, your team or the enemy's team, and you could see what everybody was building. Problem is not everybody can recognize every picture or every item in the game just by the picture. So now, with the tooltips, if you hover your mouse over them, it will show you what it is, all the stats on it, what it costs, just your basic tooltip. So now with this, you can see, hey, my team is building this certain way, maybe I should build this way to complement them. Or you can see, oh, this Ayla is kicking my butt, how is she doing that? Open up the menu, take a look at what she's doing. This is something I've been waiting for a long time. As a player at my skill, I haven't played a huge amount. I haven't got to play all the characters enough to know what each and every item is, so when that Ayla kicks my butt, I have no idea what she's doing. I might be able to recognize, oh, she has extra health, or maybe I know the tricycle means extra speed, but that's about it. So now I have a better chance to go in, see what people are building, see how it's working, and try and think of ways that I can counter them. So it just brings more depth to the chance to adapt, like the store did. Another change that has been made actually happens at the end of a match. Before, you had the option to either rematch or go back to the main menu. Now, the rematch button has been taken away. Now, the reason for this is before, the rematch button was resulting in a lot of half-filled games. Some people were clicking to rematch, whereas other people were just returning to the menu. So now, with everybody returning to the menu and entering matchmaking again, this should help to improve the matchmaking's chance to get you against opponents that A, have a better distance towards you, and B, have a better ranking. So hopefully this will help get games filled up faster and have more people in the same rating so the game isn't a complete blowover. Another nice detail of this is there's no more end game timer. So when you're sitting in the end, you can see everybody's scores and you're telling everyone GG. You can feel free to hang and chat for a little bit. You're no longer rushed to get either a new game going or to the main menu. You're no longer cut off talking to someone who might be a new friend. Feel free to hang out and chat. With this new patch, a few changes have been made to the maps of the game. Most notably, AI Station 404 has been renamed and revamped. The new map, known as AI Station 205, has been redesigned to include things such as an extra lane, a new hazard, and some updated graphics. Now, although AI Station 404 will no longer be available in online games, it is still available in practice and custom, so you can still play the map, it just won't be used in public or any online game. Also, the map of Sorona, which more people probably know as just the Worm map, there's been a slight change that the first front turrets on each side have been reduced in health by 10%, and the goal of this is to try and speed up games. The devs are trying to get the games down to around 15 to 20 minutes, and this map is taking just a little too long, so they've done that to try and speed the games up. In this new patch, the Awesomenauts bot system is also getting a very big upgrade. First of all, 9 new bots have been added. These bots consist of Ayla, Coco, Genji, Na, Raylin, Scree, Swiggins, Ted, and Vinnie. And to keep up with these bots, Clunk, Froggy, Leon, and Lone Star have received updates of their own. When playing online, bots will now be at level 3, which means they will be doing half the cheating as before. Also, bots will cheat less, in that they will no longer have faster respawn times, they'll no longer do extra damage to turrets, and they won't have any more increased max health. The saw blades have also got their own little buff, again to help increase the game speed. They now have a max HP of 70 rather than 60, and they have a maximum regen of 150 instead of 120 health per minute. A few updates have been made to the networking of the game. Now, I don't know much about how this works, so this is really just my attempt to explain what I understand. If you guys want to see more, make sure you check out the official forum post that shows you all details on the networking and on everything else. However, what's changed is now the game will send 2 packets of information rather than 1. What this should fix is that before, the game would send 1, and occasionally this packet would get lost. Now, for the game to realize that a packet is lost holding data, and for it to send a new one, takes quite a bit of time. So when this happens, this is when the game seems to kind of freeze up for half a second or something like that. So it increases your leg spikes, makes for more leg spikes. So now that it sends 2, if one of them happens to get lost, instead of trying to search and wait out the time that it needs to search for that, it just has a second one already there that it can accept. So this will help reduce any leg spikes and hopefully really just make the game a little more playable. I know you guys have probably heard me rage a lot about leg, and as far as I understand, they're trying to do what they can, so I give them 2 thumbs up on anything that has to do with getting rid of any leg. Again, if you want a little more detail on that, make sure you guys check out the forum post. I don't really know what I'm talking about, this is just what I understand is happening. The replay system has also received some attention in this patch. 2 of the new features are A, the auto cam, which will automatically follow the action around for you. This is now the default camera that the replay will start you in. Also, some graphs have been added to show you things like kills, damage, or solar gained over time. Also, there's been a large amount of bug fixes. I'm not going to go into all those here, but again, you guys can check out the official post and you can see all of those in detail. And our last update before we get into character changes comes in the profile and new skins. Now, first of all, there's a new profile section that will be able to show you stats on your characters and stats for you in general. Now, keep in mind this is in beta, so it is susceptible to crashes, bad information, things like that, but it should be an interesting thing to see later once it's been implemented fully. 3 new premium skins have also been added to the game. You can now enjoy Grim Genji, Jotun Skoldir, and Leon Legionnaire. In this update, Ted McPay has received quite a few changes. First off, with his machine and shotgun, his machine gun's base range has been increased from 6.4 to 7.5. Also, the puffed spider eggs, which used to reduce the reload time on the shotgun, will now instead increase your ammo for a reduced price. Of all of Ted's skills, the stim pack has received the biggest change. The devs are trying to create a better option versus the airstrike. Currently, nobody will ever use stim pack, me included. I've always really wanted to, but it simply doesn't stand up to what kind of damage and control the airstrike can give you. So, to try and combat this, they have changed it dramatically. First of all, stim pack will no longer do any damage to yourself. Also, the armpit shaving cream, which used to reduce the damage down to yourself, will now instead give you a damage reducing shield for the duration of the stim pack. It has 2 stages, 10% per stage, and instead of costing 130, it will now cost 160. The Ammo Weekly upgrade, which used to give you increased attack speed at the cost of increased self-damage, will no longer increase your self-damage because that doesn't exist. So to compensate for that, it will now cost 175 solar compared to the 160 that it used to. Angel Wing toilet paper, which used to reload your shotgun by 2, will now instead reload your shotgun fully. And the grenade pour I'm not even going to try and pronounce, which used to extend your stim pack's use over every knot that you killed, will instead now emit a stun of 0.2 seconds, either to initiate or to escape, at a cost of 160 rather than 185. A few other minor changes have been made to Ted. First of all, his double RPG, the cooldown between airstrikes, has been reduced from 2 seconds to 1 second. Also, they have slightly increased the acceleration on Ted's boots. They have changed the switching stance icon to show the right cooldown of 0.6 seconds. And Ted will now spawn with his machine gun out so he can take advantage of the increased speed to get back into the action faster. Some changes have been made to Sentry in an attempt to make him less of a powerhouse tanking monster. First of all, his tactical vest, which is his life-stealing attack, has been reduced from 20% to 15%. His dog tags, which increase his attack speed, has been reduced from 20% to 15% per stage, but with a price reduction of 20 solar. Not So Serious Tank, which used to do 1 extra damage per stage, has been removed by 1 stage, now adding 2 damage per stage. So basically, instead of getting 3 damage after 3 stages, you get 4 damage after 2. However, each stage now costs 180 rather than 140. The Counterintelligence Cross, which used to detonate mines at a distance with a second homing click, will now automatically start homing after they time out. Also, the price has been reduced from $295 to 200. Homing bullets will now deal AoE damage. Homing bullets will also deal 50% damage to turrets, and homing bullets will fly in the same direction they have been shot in if no target has been found. A few other minor changes: the Circuits of Time has had 1 stage removed. The Teleport Beacon cooldown has been reduced from 20 seconds to 15 seconds, and the Microfilm, which used to increase your shield per stage when using the black hole, has been reduced from 15% to 10% per stage at a price reduction of 20 solar per stage. A good chunk of changes have been made to Vinnie and Spike in this update. The devs have said that they believe he is not overpowered, but instead he is getting access to endgame power too early in the match. So, to fight this, they have increased the solar on many of his skills, and they have nerfed a few of his damage-causing skills. First off, the dreaded Spike Dive. Its cooldown has been increased from 7 seconds to 8 seconds. Also, on the Antique Machine Gun, price has increased from 160 to 175 in order to increase the range of Spike Dive. The Alien Abduction Kit, which has a lifesteal increase of 25%, now will instead give you 30%. And finally, the Rigged Casino Games, which gives you a cooldown reduction on Spike Dive, has had 1 stage removed, but also gives you a spike dive 2 seconds after your first spike dive for minus 20 damage. The price is also increased by a hefty 100 solar, making the new cost 225 per skill. Some changes have also been made to Vinnie's basic attacks. First off, the Sharky and Remora, which used to increase your range by 4, has been reduced to a range of 3. The Codfather, which gives you extra damage to wealthy players, has been reduced from 3 damage to 2 damage, and has had its price reduced from 175 to 150 solar. And finally, a few changes have been made to the smoke screen. Smoke screen will now hit faster, which will hopefully counter some issues where players were able to use skills even when they should have been silenced by the red bandana. Also, the red bandana's price has been increased from 185 to 220 solar. The rubber mask has had a price increase from 70 to 100 solar, and the withered president's masks has increased from 150 to 185 solar. Rocketeer your size by +2. And finally, the mammoth sock with holes has had 1 stage removed, and the disruption increased from 1.2 seconds to 2.5. The price has also been increased from 175 to 235. When playing Scree, you will now notice a 20% movement speed slowdown when using your lightning rod. The price on Steel Drum has increased from 160 to 190 solar per stage, but Air Freshener has been reduced from 185 to 140 per stage. Mask of Fear now has a range of 10 rather than 8, and your saw blade's collision size is now correct with the animation. Also, Spare Blade and Air Freshener's particles will now work together. Of all the Awesomenauts, Swiggins will be receiving the most dramatic of an overhaul. He has a completely new way of playing where now his anchor drop is a lot more adaptable to new situations. So, basically what will happen is on anchor drop, the anchor will now stay on the floor until the cooldown has run out. After that, you will acquire a new skill called Anchor Recall that when activated, it will return your anchor to your hands. If you touch the anchor before that, anchor drop will then instantly change to Anchor Recall and you will be able to use it right away. However, if you pick up the anchor before the end of the cooldown, you will still need to wait for the remainder of the cooldown until another anchor can be thrown. So this opens up for a few possible situations. Now that your anchor doesn't automatically return, if you need to, say, get in or out of the action faster, you can drop your anchor and get a speed boost, or you can bring it back when you're ready to do some melee rather than some range. It really just helps to open up the possibilities for Swiggins and keep him from the hook and anchor gameplay that we know of him. A few other changes have been made to the anchor drop. The duration of the chain has been reduced from 4 seconds to 3 seconds. Also, the base range of the chain has increased by 10%. There has been issue fixed where occasionally it was dealing double damage, and the Bovivian skimmed milk will now add damage amplification of 10% per stage for the duration of the anchor drop, up to 2 stages. However, the skill has also been increased from 145 solar to 160 solar per stage. Anchor Hook has received a few changes of its own. The Treasure Lottery map now adds a debuff immunity for 1 second after hitting an enemy knot. However, the price has increased from 80 to 175 solar. Magnetic Anchor, the damage has increased from 3.3 to 5 damage per stage. And the Double Glazed Royal Porcelain now reduces the length of the chain by 25%. A few minor changes that have also been made. The Royal Castle has a damage reduction reduced from 12.5% to 10% per stage. Krill Biscuits now has the old effect of Bolivian skim milk, where it's increased movement speed when not holding Humboldt. Not Sweetened increases the blind duration from 0.2 to 0.4, and the Ink Shot has a slightly increased collision size of the Ink Shot bullets. Some minor changes have been made to Na. First, his Weedlings. Their health has been reduced from 45 to 40 HP. The max health they gain over the course of the game has been reduced by 6, and their health regen has reduced from 240 to 200 health per minute. Na's aggressive acid skill has been changed. It no longer gives you additional lifetime, but instead increases the spawn rate of your drips, 3 drips in total. Tentacle Soup now has its slow power reduced from 20% to 15% per stage. Leon has had his Hungry Sword lifesteal reduced from 25% to 20%. The outward travel speed of his tongue has been changed from 80 to 60, but the tongue can now be used directly out of stealth again. The party mask's price has increased from 140 solar to 160 solar per stage, and the Clover of Honor now works on the second hit instead of the third. Its damage reduced from 6 to 4 per stage, and it no longer has damage reduction against turrets. Coco's upgrade, Chunk's Board, has had 1 stage removed. Superconductor's attack speed has been reduced from 200 to 160, as well as a price increase of 170 to 180 per stage. Derple's Trap has had a lifetime increase from 9 seconds to 11 seconds. His Hollow Point Bullets has had 1 stage added, and his deployment pads now add a 0.1 second stun to the pulse. Also, all of Derple's skins now have a team color glow on their traps. Raylin's Gyric Lubricator has had 1 stage removed, as well as her cassette deck magazine now has a cooldown reduction of 1 second per stage rather than 1.5 seconds. Voltar's Euphoric Thoughts have had a price reduction of 360 to 250 solar. Also, when being cocooned by Genji, your drones will no longer die. Penny now rocks a small, unnoticeable knockback, which will allow her to deactivate any flying enemies, just like any other melee knot will do. Chicken in a Lunchbox has had its price reduced from 180 to 145 solar per stage. When using Earthquake with Skuldir, the particles now have a reduced duration when they hit the floor. When using Mutant Worms with Froggy G, Whirlwind will now also increase the damage of your next shot for 5 seconds. Ayla has had an issue fixed where you could use Rage to fly out of the landing area, and finally Genji has had his delay removed when shooting a cocoon. So that wraps up all of our major updates in this new patch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any more questions, make sure that you leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer it. And also check out the official forum post. I'd like to say again that everything I have mentioned in this video are things that I have deemed kind of the most important and major updates. There are still some more bug fixes or modding info, things like that I did not mention, and that are worth checking out. So look in the description, there will be a link to that. Also, make sure you guys leave me a rating. I may be doing more of these in the future if you guys enjoyed it. I hope that this was informative for you guys and will help you get started in the new patch, and I hope you guys all enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.